You're listening to The Sizzle on Iron Skillet Radio and Iron Skillet Television.
All right, Jay, so let's talk about it. Bears and the Raiders. You're looking for Allegiant Stadium, one of the best stadiums now in the league, to be rocking and rolling with Bears fans. There were planes sold out to Vegas, and Vegas is ready to do their thing. But, Jay, there's brotherly love. Before we can talk about the foolery, we have to talk about the brotherly love. We have to talk about Derek Carr saying earlier today that he misses Khalil Mack, and he loves him.
Like they eat Pop-Tarts together or something? What? I mean, they were teammates for a long time, so I understand that. And plus, when you're a Khalil Mack and you're one of the best defensive players to don a football helmet in the NFL, and then somehow you're summarily released and gone and traded away, I can see Derek Carr being upset about that because they're friends on the field. And I'm sure that hasn't stopped. The problem is how friendly is this conversation going to be if Khalil Mack meets him in the backfield and Derek Carr still has a football in his hands?
Right. Then, we talk about the trade, and I said we weren't going to spend much time on who won or lost that trade with the Bears and with Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Because I believe the Bears lost a lot more. They lost in draft capital a lot more than they gained with Khalil Mack. But just to your point, what happens when what happens when the tight end is bigger than Khalil Mack, named Darren Waller, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. What happens?
A monster.
I saw him, and Rich and I were talking about this earlier on the other show. He was standing beside Randy Moss, and he made Randy Moss look like a child.
Yeah. And Randy Moss is not a small wide receiver by anybody's stretch of the imagination. Waller's huge.
Yeah, Waller is a grown defensive tackle playing tight end. Yeah. It's a bad thing, but when you meet up in that backfield, Jay, when Khalil's coming off that edge, does that friendship thing go out the window, or are they still buddies when he sacks him in the backfield?
Oh, no, that friendship goes out the window, and I think he's going to probably look a little bit like Joey Bosa if he comes off that edge, like Bosa was coming. If we get a Khalil back who is wrecking and getting there, this is going to be a long day for Derek Carr. And I believe Khalil Mack wants to get home on Derek Carr. It's something different when you're playing against somebody that you know, especially other teammates, because you want to look at them and go, "Oh, you traded me away? Oh, did you? How are those draft picks working out? You know what? Matter of fact, let me show you what I'm all about. Let me show you what you've been missing because maybe you forgot." And I think you're going to see an even more excited Khalil Mack coming around the corner. We're going to hope. I'm going to hope that Khalil Mack gets home, but he's going to need a lot of help from Robert Quinn on the backside, who's looked better. But so one of those two guys got to get home. One of those two guys got to, channel Joey Bosa and let's put 4 or 5 hits on Derek Carr and get him seeing ghosts and have him start running the other way.
Now, there are a lot of things to unpack here. First of all, I don't feel the same way about the Raiders that I did after watching the Chargers game. I think the Chargers game took a little shine off the veneer of who the Raiders are. When I look at them, I say, oh, okay, now this makes sense. Now they've come back to earth. Now I can see the path to destruction for them. But one of the bigger things is now you're missing Akeem Hicks. As you said, Robert Quinn has to step up. And I think, hopefully, there was a lesson learned maybe, 2 years ago when the Bears played the Raiders in England, and they were all like, we're going to go over there, we're going to beat them, and it was going to be great. And then they got mollywopped in an early morning game. I don't see that the Bears will make that second mistake in taking Derek Carr for granted, even though they don't have a lot of the tools, the running backs and the receivers. They do have that bad man, Darren Waller, who can come across the middle on some drags. He can do some things to really disrupt what you're trying to do defensively, especially if you start going in zone on him. So, Jay, how do the Bears play this to make sure that they're keeping the Raiders in check for the rest of the game?
Well, there's a major, major problem. The Raiders are tied with the Chiefs for the number one attempts of catches over 20 yards in the NFL. The Bears are tied for second fewest with 6. What does this tell you? It tells you that the Raiders are going to break out this air raid, if I could take a term from yesteryear, offense, and they're going to throw the football on you. Now, here's the issue. The only person who's been playing with any form of consistency is Jalen Jennings. He's the only one. The Bears are terrible in the secondary when it comes down into third downs and when you're talking about red zone type situations. It is imperative that the Chicago Bears secondary step up and let's play some coverages. If they're in some cover zeros or if they're in one high because they're trying to get pressure down on Derek Carr and they don't get home, it's going to be a problem because Derek Carr can throw the football. And Joey Bosa said it best. He said, the one thing to stop the Raiders is to hit Derek Carr. If we don't hit Derek Carr, and I say we, the Chicago Bears, if they don't hit Derek Carr, it's going to be a long day in that secondary because our secondary is very susceptible to what the Raiders do.
You know, funny enough that we're talking about what the Raiders offense can do. Let's flip it on the other side. We haven't discussed your thoughts about Justin Fields being named as the starter moving forward. But one of the things that's come out now is there is frustration from Allen Robinson's camp. I don't know if it's his camp or just Allen Robinson about how he's being used in this offense. When I talked with Rich, we were talking about the synergy between Fields and Mooney, how that seems to work. And it seems to be no synergy between Allen Robinson and Justin Fields. So how is this working now as Justin Fields being the starting quarterback and your number one, your receiver one, now are not on the same page?
Well, your receiver one's got to get open. That's number one. All right. He needs to be, if he's the first option needs to be open when he looks there. What you see start happening with Mooney is that Mooney is getting downfield and Justin Fields, who throws a really good deep ball, is looking to strike deep. And so he has connected with Mooney and sent him over that century mark. He's probably going to send him over the century mark again against the Raiders. The issue with Allen Robinson is that Justin Fields needs to be able to see that you're open right now when he's looking for you. If we start seeing that Justin Fields has to start making it up as we go, Allen Robinson then needs to work free. We don't see him doing that a lot. We see him, he's a great route runner. He gets where he needs to get to, but also he is getting bracketed. He is a guy who has the best cornerback on him, and sometimes they'll send a safety down over the top. Well, when you're the number one guy, teams scheme to stop you. Let's stop crying about it. You know, you need to get open or you need to say, hey, get me the ball in this double coverage. But the question is, do we have quarterbacks who can deliver the ball in tight windows? I'm going to say not yet. I don't think Derek Carr doesn't have enough time to fire a ball into double coverage. I think he's a good enough quarterback to do it. And I don't really think Justin Fields is even ready to read that high-low type situation and put the ball off your right shoulder, away from the one defender, but underneath the deep defender in that 4-foot box that he has to put the ball in while he's moving. I don't think he's ready to do that yet. I think he's ready. That's why you see him hitting the longer balls against single high safety when he has outside one-on-one. Allen Robinson has to work free, or he has to go look at Justin Fields and, hey, I'm about to hit this sluggo, and I'm about to go down the sidelines, hit me going down here. But there's always going to be safety help over the top on Allen Robinson. He's a very good wide receiver, but this is what happens to very good wide receivers. But to be a great wide receiver, you find a way to get open.
That's an excellent analysis of how they're going to work that. Now, what do you do in the running game with a David Montgomery who's sidelined with obviously injury, but they just say he's out, but he's injured. So, I mean, he was writhing and rolling around on the ground in pain. That lets me know that you're probably injured, my friend. That's just not a hurt rolling around he did. That was a, oh, Lord, help me, Jesus. I think they took my knee. I think they took my knee. And I think that's what he said. They took my knee.
Yeah, it's over there.
Yeah, it's over there.
Yeah.
Somebody go get my knee, please. Help me. So does this run game help to bolster, or do they go to the run game even more now with a defense and especially a front like the Raiders? How does this run game help Justin Fields come against one of the better defenses in the league?
You need 30-plus carries against this defense. Near 40 carries against this defense. You have to make them walk somebody down in the box. You got to gash these guys. You have to start beating it because you got to slow down this coming after the quarterback with your ears pinned back. You just can't let this is going to be a free-for-all. We can't look like Cleveland. This can't be Myles Garrett every time he drops back. It's just like, woohoo, who's first to get there? That's high five. Can't be that. You got to run the football. I think you're going to see a number of screens out of this to the short pass game. But I'm hoping, because I look at the short pass game just like it's a run play. My hope is that we don't get a steady diet of that in the first series, because I think teams are going to look for that, and I'd be surprised if one of these cornerbacks just don't go jump that little short screen and try to take it to the house. But I think the Bears running back situation is perfectly fine. I mean, David Montgomery is a very good back, but the backup is no slouch. It all depends what's happening up front with this offensive line. Can they get movement? I'd like to see if they're going to bring these tight ends in, and so now we're getting doubles at the point of attack. We're getting doubles on the edges. Let's get this 3-4 yards. Let's hold the football. Let's keep Derek Carr on the sidelines. And let's not put Justin Fields in a position where he's got to throw the ball 35 times. If that happens and he's got to throw the ball 35 times, this is going to be an L for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I know special teams has been searching for someone. They just signed a new player. In fact, they didn't sign him. They traded for Miami for a new player to come in to do the return efforts. And it's funny, Jay, we talked about this earlier in camp, and I think we had talked about it on the show once. When it comes to a little chicken salad to Tariq Cohen, I'm under the impression that we may have seen the last of Tariq Cohen. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe something. I know he'll be available after week 7 to come off the PUP list, but there's something about he didn't practice through training camp. You haven't seen anything about him getting out there and he's going through drills. You see him on the field. You don't even see him in pads. So I'm beginning to wonder if the Tariq Cohen experience is over with.
Well, it's possible, but here's the issue, as we all know. If you're not a super duper star in this league, then these slots for you to play close very rapidly, especially if it's due to injury and you're a guy who can't stay on the field. So I'm looking at a Tariq Cohen to try to get back. I don't care if it's game 17. He's going to try to get back and go out here and play. Why? Because it's not about this season for him. It's for the next season after this. Because unlike the NBA and other leagues, there's very few places that you can go make a living playing pro football. You got here, you got Canada, that's about it. There aren't European leagues, there aren't China leagues, there aren't leagues, Israeli leagues, there aren't any of that. You only really got 2 places to go play. And if you can't make it in one, the other one's looking for you. But everybody who didn't make it in the NFL is playing in Canada. So again, it's the same situation that anybody faces when you have a limited job opportunities that you have to produce. So I will see if Tariq Cohen can play in the last 3 minutes of the 17th game of the year. Tariq Cohen's going to go out there and go have at it if they'll put him on the field because he has to.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to sum it up. So let's get ready to wrap this segment up, Jay. When you look at Raiders-Bears, Bears-Raiders, what is your final score? What is the tally up for the ending of this game? Who comes out victorious?
Well, I was real wrong against Detroit. I thought Detroit was going to come out and just play better. This is almost a pick 'em to me, to tell you the truth, because it is one of these games we just don't know about the it factor. Is Justin Fields really the guy? You know, is he that guy that's going to be able to put the Bears on his back, make it work, figure a way out, and push him downfield? I'm going to say, yes, he is the it guy. I've got Justin Fields throwing for 3 touchdowns in this game. I got the Bears winning by 2 touchdowns. I've got 28-14 Chicago Bears.
Woo! Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Well, okay. So I'm going to have to go the other way. I see a Raiders attack coming in with a Darren Waller. They're mixing their run, and you got Ruggs in the slot and moving around. I see a Raiders team that's going to come in, probably put up not 28, but I would say 24-17 for the Bears. I think this is going to be a real eye-opener, as you said, to see where Justin Fields really stacks up against competition in the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is it. Did we have the guy, or did we pass up on the guy?
Ooh.
You know, is that Haybert kid down there? Was that him? Did we miss it? Because I don't know. Some analysts have said that he is going to be a Hall of Famer. They've already said it.
Well, the way he's come back after the rough start of their season, and now the way you look at the Chargers, you believe. And if Herbert, you have to, I think if you're Justin Fields, to really be real, to be verified in this league, you're going to have to put up a Justin Herbert performance.
Yeah,
beat the Raiders solid. And now people say that boy is official. He's official.
It's time to go. It's time to get 1 with your legs and 2 in the air. However those 3 come, he needs to be the principal on getting 3 touchdowns himself. Throwing 2 passes, throwing for 3 touchdowns, running for 2, throwing for 1. Whatever it is, he needs to be that guy right now, because I think for his own psyche, he threw a couple of good balls, but we know the NFL, they're going to take that away from you pretty soon, and they're going to make you, hey, we're going to go too high. You're not going to be able to push that ball down the sidelines anymore. You're going to have to check down and go underneath. And if he can't check down and hit these short crossing routes, hit the stuff in the middle of the field, hit the stuff at the seams, if he can't do that, it's going to be a very long year for Justin Fields.
Yes, sir. That's where we're going to leave it. You know who it is. You know what it is. It's the Sizzle in the building. He's Jay Sizzle. I'm G Sizzle. And we will see you, my friend, on the other side. Remember to look for our exclusive interview with Coach Angela Hamblin Blakely from the region. You know who only does it the way we do it, which is the Sizzle, right here on Iron Skillet Radio and Iron Skillet Television.
Make sure that you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Iron Skillet Sports. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to Iron Skillet Sports on YouTube at Iron Skillet Sports.